Cherish here, back again for Cherish Notes. Today we will be doing chapters January and February of A Little Something Different. So, where we left off, they were starting winter break. And where January picks up is winter break is technically over and classes are starting again, but not a lot of people have shown up. Like, everyone's just not coming back to the dorms and the campus and everything. So, trying to come back, but there aren't a lot of people there yet. But Leah and Gabe are, and so they have a few meetings. Yes, finally something is happening in this godforsaken book. They meet at the diner, and then at a bar, and then at Starbucks, and then they see each other randomly. And while all this is happening, there's like this weird, almost drama stuff going on, which gets really annoying because things are going really well, and then suddenly Leah thinks Gabe is like annoyed by her and doesn't like her, and Gabe thinks that Leah's in a relationship, and it puts like this really awkward thing between the two of them. And it makes things frustrating again, because then it's just like things were finally starting to get going halfway through the book, and then it's just by the end of February it's like this weird almost halt, like things are still rolling, but it's like rolling in a different direction, and it's just stressful. So now getting to details and things I thought were hilarious or important. To start off with, I thought it was neat that so when we left off in December, Bianca, Leah's friend, had walked up to Gabe's friend Casey and asked if Gabe was drunk, or not drunk, asked if Gabe was gay, and he was like, "What? No, it's crazy." And so in January it picks up by Casey telling Gabe what had happened like 2-3 weeks prior, and they're all laughing about it, and Gabe is like kind of upset but not really. He's like, "Oh wow, that makes a lot of sense. That's why she doesn't talk to me, she thinks I'm gay." Very disappointed. He's kind of upset, but like the funny upset, like not like aggro, but just like wow, okay. And then nothing really happens, but then we move on to Sam, which is Gabe's brother, and Gabe brings up wanting a job, but he also brings up a little bit about what happened for before, like his accident or whatever. At this point, I am with this, and spoiler, I guess it's not really a spoiler because I'm going to talk about it in like 3 minutes. I'm almost positive that it was a car accident, but I'm not sure if it was like a drunk driving accident or if it was just like something had happened. They haven't really explained that part, and they haven't just flat out been like, it was a car accident. They haven't said yet, but I'm almost positive it was a car accident. So, and that's just because he's talking about wanting a job and how he wants to take Leah on a date, and he's all like, oh well, it doesn't matter. The point is he talks about how he doesn't drive, and then they're like, what? And yeah, so there's that. Then it comes over to the diner scene where Maxine, the 80-year-old waitress, like pairs Gabe and Leah together and makes them talk to each other and like hang out for dinner, which was super adorable, and go Maxine for finally getting things done. But Gabe can't hear out of one of his ears, like very vaguely, and he like can't hear her very well, so he isn't really answering, and he was like super nervous and can't really talk to her. He's super shy to the point where, like, okay, so I understand people are shy to the point of like it makes things hard to talk about, whatever, because my little sisters are like, I have a little sister that's kind of shy, and I've had friends that have been shy, like they're very shy. This isn't going nearly as well as the other one did. But Like, I understand that you can be super shy and it makes it hard to talk to people, but it is driving me nuts that Gabe is so shy that every time they talk, he won't say anything to her. Like, he won't even tell her hi half the time. That's what gets me to the next page where, and I thought this was cute, so I'm going to read it to you guys. So Leah, since Gabe won't talk to Leah, they decide to play hangman, and it's like super cute for a bit, and then Leah leaves, and Gabe writes a bunch of stuff down on this piece of paper and like crumples it up and like throws it to the side and leaves. And Maxine, being her 80-year-old nosy self, goes over to the paper and unfolds it and reads it, and it's things I should have said but didn't, and this is important. So, 1, how are you? 2, how was your break? 3, are you still taking creative writing part 2 this semester? Which they are, which is the entire reason the second half of the book is here. 4, I like girls, for the record. That's hilarious because he's just super sassy. 5, I'm kind of an idiot and don't know what to talk about. 6, thanks for sitting with me. 7, thanks for playing hangman. 8, we should do this again sometime and I could give you my number and the next time you could text me or something, or I could text you, we could text each other and I would stop being so stupid and pathetic and talk to you, even though I always feel pretty stupid and pathetic. There's a lot of stuff I should tell you because you might not like me as much if you knew the other stuff, but maybe you still would. 9, I really like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And 10, bye. He didn't even tell her goodbye. He's so shy, he won't even tell her goodbye. It's understandable, but at the same time, a little bit ridiculous and very stressful. Moving on. On page 130. Oh, dang it. Okay, so the reason why I couldn't find this on the other page was because it's right here. This is where they talk about how Gabe doesn't drive. See, like right there. Whoop. And I just get it wrong every time. Page 130, if anyone's reading along with me, I doubt you are, but because I'm telling you, you don't really need to, I guess, because I'm doing this, but if you wanted to, page 130. Anyways, he's like, you don't drive? And then they talk about it for a little bit, and he, like, talks about how he likes Leah, but he's, like, stressed out about all of it because he can't hear, and he has these problems, and he talks more about it in a second, and that's where I'll bring it up. But, and then, this. Okay, so then on page 138, they're at the bar, and so he goes, Leah and Gabe are in line together, but they don't realize they're in line together, like they don't even realize they're near each other, somehow. But Gabe goes to pay for a water, and they're like, the water's $10, and he's like, I don't have $10, what are you talking about, how is one water $10? And the guy's like, I rang you guys up together, and Gabe looks over, and Leah's standing there also ordering a water, and he's like, I thought you guys were a couple. Don't know how they didn't notice they were standing beside each other, but, so then Gabe is like, checking all in his pockets, and he can't find, like, his cash, and so Leah just pays for it. She's like, here's the 10, pays for the waters. And then Gabe gets all aggro because she paid for something because she can, and he was too slow. So he goes over and he pouts to Casey and Sam, and they're like, you being ridiculous. And it comes to this, where Leah starts to leave, and he's like, oh no, I never said anything, and I've been over here like all messed up, so I'm going to read this last piece. And I'm awful at reading out loud, so just get ready. It was like, when I noticed that Leah, okay, and this is Casey's perspective, just so you guys are on the same page with me. Just making sure I was right. It's like, when I noticed that Leah and her friends are on their way out, I gesture for him to go talk to her, and he shakes his head. I grab his arm and race to cut them off before they exit. Tell her you'll get her next time, I say. Then he goes, I'll get you next time, he yells as I push him within Leah's earshot. She gives him a confused look as 3 girls walk out the door into a gust of cold air. He sounded like a cartoon villain, and they talk about it, and it's hilarious because moving on to the next page, they see each other at Starbucks, and they talk about it, and she was like, yeah, you were pretty scary, and it's just like really, really funny to me, and it was great. Moving on. Okay. The next one is, okay, so I thought this was funny because it's kind of off character for like the rest of the book. So the rest of the book, like, there's been like partying and drinking or whatever, but there hasn't been like any sexual innuendos or things like that. Like, it's been pretty dry on that plane until now. And so Casey and Sam go to get Gabe. But they forget that he had pins taken out of his arm from the accident, finally, and that he can't use that arm right now, and so then they feel bad, and they're like, oh, you'll just be a cheerleader. So they go to play football in the snow, because it's snowing outside, I forgot to add that in, but, and they're like, oh, I'll just go sit on that bench over there, but Leah and her friend show up, and he's like, go, like, they'll just sit with you, it'll be fine, you know, like, give you a reason to talk. They're like setting him up. But there's also this little doodad right here. You can see it, hopefully. Yeah. Best thing ever. I laughed for like an hour, and then I died. But it was great. And it was even funnier that was added in there because there hasn't been anything like that throughout the rest of the book. So it was just really random. And yeah. Okay, moving on to the last page. And this is where I draw my conclusions for the car accident, even though it hasn't been stated yet. They're like talking about Gabe's problems and how like his shoulder's messed up and he can't really hear out of an ear now because of all of it, and how he's finally starting to go through therapy, but he realizes that like he has these problems and he needs to go to the doctor for his other problems, and then like he needs to start talking about it because he's really worried to tell Leah about it because Leah's gonna like hate him after and this and that and blah blah blah. It's to this. Casey tells him that he should just start talking to people about it in general, that way he can be desensitized to it and it won't be as big of a deal when he tells Leah. And he's like, oh, well, how would you know? Like, you're just making stuff up. And Casey is like, nuh-uh, because I'm an abnormal psych this semester to meet girls. It's totally valid. Because, I mean, I guess if you're actually paying attention in the class, you would learn something like that. But if you're just there to meet girls, you might not get the correct information. So it's really funny, but at the same time, like, it's actually important because that opens up the scenario for us to actually find out what happens, and that is the end of February. We will be going into March on Friday, hopefully. I will see you guys next time on Cherish Notes. Go ahead and read along with me if you'd like. A little something different. It's on all kinds of stuff. Yeah.